want. Yeah.
Hey.
Well, that's the one I want.
Lilia.
This one, preferably. I was obsessed via the power of Google Image by that place over there. These little islands, it's just amazing. And this one's crazy in its shape. No degree, full stop, let alone art. Some people think I still have a lot of work to do to prove myself as being an actual artist. I used to feel very unworthy of, I couldn't call myself that at all for a very long time. And it was only until I had a lot of recognition from outside, specifically outside of the country, when shows like Arte TV showed an interest, and getting into quite extreme residencies abroad and things like that, I started to feel more confident. But before that, people referred to me more as an event organizer. In 2001, I came over here to review people at Airwaves Music Festival, and got very drunk and met some people, and then flew back to London. And it was really easy to keep doing that because it's like a 2.5 hour flight. So I just came over and over again until it became much easier just to live here. I got invited to go and work at a software company, and then they went bankrupt, and I got employed by A&R at Smäklösa to do artist promotion. And then from there I got employed by CCP Games as a producer. Do you want a soda water or something, Hannah? I'm very excited. So I haven't actually had a party for a long time. And this is one where the neighbours have been warned. So yeah, people should be arriving soonish. The first time that I did a Weird Ghost project was not supposed to be an episode, it was supposed to be a party type thing. And it was because in the UK, I had always been a bit of a tomboy. And when I moved here from England, I suddenly had a lot more female friends. I was getting ready with girls to go out and putting on makeup and doing all the getting dressed up thing. I noticed that rather a lot of my female friends were very bothered by how they thought they looked, how they thought they looked in certain things, the usual body issues. And then a lot of them, when we were alone at home, would be very chatty and confident. And then we actually went to a club or a party, they would be very quiet and backs against the wall and really concerned about how other people perceive them. So I organised a party event which involved me borrowing a video camera and organising a photographer to come. And I had previously decided to do a version of The Last Supper with the photographer. And then we made a video which was very amateur and fun. And it was just supposed to be one. And then everybody had such a good time and seemed to feel really good after doing it, that then I planned to do the next one. Piece episode 2, I went straight for the spandex, my favourite fabric of all time. And I had the set of girls who had come in. I actually had custom made all over bodysuits made in spandex for them.
I want to be a freak. 2 leather jackets, 1 soul.
In the first group of girls that I was doing the project with were several friends, and at least 2 of them had had eating disorders, and there were a couple of others who had very substantial body conscious issues. So from the second one, it
developed more of the ongoing concept of really pushing boundaries, because getting them to run around outside in very, very tight spandex wasn't something I thought would be as easy as it was, but it seemed to be really, really easy once I got them in the costume.
Well, I'm going to finish my chat here, okay?
Of course, there are times when I look in the mirror and I think, oh my God, I don't look very good in this or whatever. And I'm more ugly on some days than I am on other days. But I didn't suffer really badly through teen years with that particular thing. Not so much with the body issues. And I often think back that it must be how I was raised, and I'm trying to remember exactly any key parts, because I desperately want to raise my child to equally not have problems. I don't really choose the women, they choose me. Anyone basically can take part, but initially it was just, roping in friends, or people had heard about it through friends of friends. By the 3rd and 4th episode, I started to get a lot of people writing to me who I'd never met before, who wanted to take part in it. And that now is at a level where it's very high now. The women just write to me and I meet them.
Come on in. I'm just finishing off with another one here.
Hi.
Hi. Michelle Julie.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Same here.
Identify. You're asking here as well.
So I will offer you my seat.
Well, it was great to meet you. And
Likewise. Yeah. And I'm happy to work on the set too.
Okay,
so,
cool. I will send you some.
I also love. I've done a lot of body painting and costume.
You've known about the project for a while though, haven't you?
Yeah, since the beginning I've been following.
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing.
Okay.
I saw one set. I went to Grundafjörður.
Yeah, okay.
I was in the bus
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
And I just went on the set to see what was going on.
Okay.
I don't tell them anything about what they're going to be in. I just tell them what I expect from them on the day, because some people just have seen really nice photos on Facebook or something and they think they just get to turn up and do a sort of America's Next Top Model thing and go home and have a nice costume and makeup, and what they don't realise is it's hard work. It's a film set and I make them work and I get them cold and I get them exhausted and I push them to do things when they are maybe fed up. So that's why I meet with the women to tell them this, is so that they know that when it comes to it on the day, I can be quite strong with pushing them. You're not allowed to pee unless I tell you. It's basically how I am on the day, but I am thinking of them all the time. I don't really explain the Weird Cups project very much. I've struggled with summarizing it when I am asked to answer questions or apply for grants. It's very difficult. I call it an ongoing art experiment or art project. It is public participation, but it's not standard public participation because the people are involved for several months in advance, even though they don't know anything about the day itself. It is a visual art piece. But it's also a performance piece, so it's not strictly performance art. And my focus is very heavy on the filmmaking these days as well. I don't really know where to put it, to be completely honest with you. And I don't know that anyone else does either. From a selfish standpoint, I get to produce a visual art piece, but I take these women along on the journey with me.
Spandex suit comes off and another is underneath. But the other one has legs.
Come on, quick.
I have my legs.
But basically I moved here and there's such a sense of fuck it, why don't you just do that about everything? It's because everything is within reach, because it's a very small place and you know everybody and everybody knows somebody who's got something that can help you with whatever it is. And coming from London where everything is very hard, it's great there, but it's very hard to accomplish things because there are a million other people trying to do it, and everybody's out to earn their buck. And of course, that's legitimate. But here it's a lot more of like, okay, if you do me this favor, I'll do you this favor later down the line. And when I moved here, I'd already had a substantial interest in film and photography, and had done various video projects before, but not in any professional manner whatsoever. And it just became like why don't you do it? Why don't you just do something? And that is very special to this place, along with the fact that you have this immense pool of creativity, which is, again, the cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true. And there's just really talented people here, and they're just in every little corner, and it's brilliant. And I've been incredibly lucky to have people willing to work with me. And especially because, I mean, I am essentially one of these poor artists that doesn't have any money. I desperately want to be able to pay everybody. I hate not being able to pay everybody. But I just really like the fact that people seem to enjoy working with on this. And, you know, I blatantly would not have pulled this off without them, and certainly wouldn't have got as far as it's got without them. Apart from the tripod, is there anything that we could have where you could have the camera supported on you, like a body rig, so you could move more fluidly?
On me?
Yeah, I mean, like, I really wanted to try and do shots that were as close to dolly shot as possible.
3 months is usually quite good to work with a cinematographer on planning stuff out, on meeting the women, on making sure the location scouting is right. I've got to design costume and have them made, but they've been done quicker than that, and there's been ones where I've taken longer.
I've always loved the development of music videos, and I just started to ask bands if I could use their music, and then told them that they could use the video how they wanted, basically, which just meant more exposure for me. And it progressed on until I started to be approached by the bands saying they wanted to be part of it. Agent Fresco were really into the concept behind it and the body confidence thing, and they really liked that, and they put forward money to cover the cost of quite a bit of equipment. And then I found the rest, and the deal is the artist always owns the song and I always own the video. Music videos came into it basically as a cunning way to finance it and a cunning way to get more exposure. I've treated the whole project with a very business mind, actually. The promotion of it, the amount of press I've got, it's been very strategic, and it's simply in order for it to continue existing. Feeling so
like incredibly strong colours, and MTV was just a very big influence to me, because that was really the only visual sort of influences I personally had when I was younger. I always did arts and crafts even when I was like 5 all the way up until my teen years, and I was always really positively encouraged by my parents to do this because it was my hobby. And I spent all of my pocket money on materials for these things. So I just didn't get taken to openings or anything like that, but I don't know that I particularly would have wanted to as a kid anyway. I studied art at school until I was about 14 or 15, when I declared I didn't want to, because I didn't think it was, I was so pretentious. I didn't like the fact that I was told how I should be drawing things, and I didn't think that I should be told how to draw still life in the way that I was being taught, and I wanted to do my own thing, so I quit art, which frustrated my parents a lot because I was so into it.
And after that, I just didn't really do any for a really long time.
She really was a nightmare, an absolute nightmare. She was really rebellious and kicked against all the boundaries all the time. So I just, in the end, I only tried to battle those things that I felt were really important.
Strategic.
This is permanent dye, and we've had too many accidents in the house before where we've ended up with a permanent blob on a black floor, in black on the floor or something, or in the shower, or so. It's only ever done now outdoors, regardless of the fact it's about -4 at the moment. I think her natural colours are much nicer.
Oh, you were the one when oh my God. When I said in the summer, could you buy some dye stripper? Because I want to see what my natural hair colour would be. My mother said, I quote, "It can be horribly ageing." That was her advice. And that I shouldn't take the hair dye off.
I don't think I said that
You
at all.
s-
No,
you-
I didn't.
yes,
We're
you
going to have
did.
an argument there, but
You
I've got the
did.
power here.
I definitely don't miss living here, but I really miss, being able to touch base. It's a very different environment to Iceland, and I kind of need it sometimes. This is at the end of the road that my mum's house is on, and it's looking over Stoke Woods area, and it's just a lovely bench, and it's somewhere I'd run away and sit and cry on after an argument, or just have a think, or have a make out, or whatever it is through my, as my mother termed it yesterday, misspent youth. It's been a very nice place of comfort. It's definitely seen some varying stages of me, that's for sure. I went to a private girls' school, which was a day school. It wasn't a boarding school, here in Exeter. It was pretty tough in a lot of ways. I don't know if I was popular in state school, but I had friends and I was quite confident, I think. And then when I went to this private school, I lost all my confidence, like literally all of it. It wasn't specifically the school's fault, but I mean, you put a load of teenage girls together when hormones are kicking off, and it can be bitchy as hell. I definitely didn't come from a family with the kind of money that a lot of them had. And although they weren't like mean because they had money or anything, the sort of isolation was really hard to, it was really hard not to feel at that age when you're developing a sense of worth and self that you definitely didn't have the same things as the other people that are around you. And if I'd been at the other school, I wouldn't have necessarily felt that. But the education at that school, it's one of the top marked schools in England, and it was a real sort of gift to be at that school from an educational standpoint. But when you're a teenager, you don't really register that. It's only later you do. I didn't really enjoy school very much until the last year when I became a goth and just didn't give a shit.
Já, ég nefnilega á leiðinni upp í Húsadal. Ég ætlaði nú bara að tilkynna mig og athuga með bestu leiðina þangað og ferðina og svona.
About this equipment stuff.
Já.
What should I ask? Should I ask for red plus lenses or not?
I think so. I didn't answer you yesterday, last night, because I kind of want to see what we're
doing. Yeah, okay. But the choices are between red.
Yeah, and Alexia.
A what?
Alexia.
A-L, like the girl's name, Alexia.
Yeah, that's our first choice.
Well, if ever there was somewhere we were supposed to film, I think someone upstairs has just told us. This is it.
I'm very fascinated with locations, so that quite often is the beginning of a lot of my work. Sometimes it's an idea for a costume, sometimes it's music. I find music and location tend to be very big drivers for me with regards to visual. I do a lot of sitting with my eyes closed. Okay, so basically the frill is good, we've got enough, that's awesome. And what size is this one?
This is large.
This is like it should fit large because this is not too like it's not.
No,
tight
you can
enough.
see.
Yeah, exactly.
And this here.
It isn't always body issues, but there are a lot of women who want to take part here in Iceland or from abroad, which is to do with just confidence issues. So I have some women who write to me who actually believe that it will make them feel better after a divorce or after an abusive scenario, or feel like they are never going to be arty and this is a way for which they can do this. And then, of course, there are the ones that just want to come because it'll be fun.
I found out about the Weird Girls and Kitty Von sometime when I was at home in London and I was reading the Iceland Review online, an article about the Weird Girls project, and I sent an email in 2009 asking if I could be a Weird Girl, and I was told I had to wait a few years because the list was so long, and so I did.
Every time there's a new piece, I send an email out to everybody who's been in before and say who would like to be part of this. And then I always save a minimum of 2 places so that every time there is new blood, so to speak. And the same rules go for everybody who ends up being in it, and that is that they don't know anything except the date. And if I have to warn them of something, there's no knowledge of where we're going. There's no knowledge of the costume. There's no knowledge of who else is in it. None of that is set.
Hiking boots, stigvél, warm coat, vest, warm tights, gloves, woolen socks, sleeping bag, pillow.
2 towels, a supportive bra, slippers, makeup remover, sense of humour, and a high tolerance for bad weather. If you have any allergies, bring your medication with you, just in case you get hit by a peanut or a shellfish.
From the women's perspective, it's about the day itself and stepping outside of their boundaries and trying to build a bit more confidence in themselves, meeting new people and doing something they're not used to doing in front of sometimes total strangers.
Hilde.
Ja.
Hofi.
Ja.
Carolina.
Ja.
Me, yes. Clara.
Ja.
When we get to Selfoss, we will get off and go into the N1, where I will ask you all to put on your costumes. We are going to go to Seljalandsfoss, and we're going to do a kind of ninja shoot and see if we can pull off a small episode to the smaller piece of music called Peace. I would like you all to pay great attention to what I'm asking you to do there. A, because we want to get it over and done with as quick as possible, and B, because it's a little bit slippery and dangerous. me any indication? You see where the like smaller waterfall bit is that crashes onto the rock? Whereabouts compared to there can you see us in shot? Can you see us in shot the entire way, or? Okay, I'm gonna make sure they can do that without falling, and still look graceful enough. Okay, so basically we'll make sure that they don't have clothes. But there's a couple of girls not yet with makeup that we're waiting for.
Ta-da! I don't hear clapping.
For me, it was the combination of being able to dress up, to be a part of something that was so beautiful, but to not be responsible for being an individual exactly. Someone was going to tell me what to do and give me a costume. I just had to participate, and at the end, something very beautiful was going to be made, and I was completely confident about that. So it was a combination of being able to express myself and not having to be fully responsible. So I think my biggest fear was that when I got there, I was going to have to do some kind of unchoreographed interpretive dance. And when I didn't, I was greatly relieved. That would have been a really big challenge.
When you are stood with your hands in the air and she walks through the waterfall, if she walks towards you between two of you, can the two of you like let her walk through, basically?
And up. Yeah, a little bit. 1, 2, 3.
The Thorsmork piece that I did was really important personally, and it was a very magical time because all the women seemed to have a very special gel happening on that day. And because I'd just broken up with the father of my child, I had had a very hard few weeks beforehand, and I was going to cancel doing it. And so the fact that I achieved it was very satisfying from a personal perspective, and also just, it was really important for me to do that then. And that was also the first time I had a red camera and proper lenses, and it made a lot of things right, that piece, for personal reasons.
Well, I just want to say that it was well worth waiting 3 years.
Yeah. That's quite something.
Well, yeah, it was. It's
3 years,
really worth it.
nearly
Anyway.
3 years.
Really, really worth it.
I'm really glad.
I'm so happy. Really nice.
Glad.
I was also saying earlier that it's really nice to do this, like when we, even though it's difficult, when we go away, because it's so nice that we can all sit down afterwards and just, instead of everybody just like with their costume, like, okay, I'm going home, gonna drive my car in my car, feel funny, and then go.
Yeah.
And then you're just alone instead of like everybody being together and you know eating together. It's so it like really wraps it up.
We should all go and dance, basically.
I think so, yeah. I think
I'm not going to let you go down that. I'm going to go down on my own.
I leave you.
I'm not having you leave me. I'm trust your stuff.
Participation in Weird Girls project was helping me to get rid of shyness about my body, to shift from negative self-image and insecurity through these chances to look at yourself, how you look in front of camera, and how the photos were. And then noticing just everyone of us looks different and there is no standard and we can still be beautiful and enjoy ourselves just as we are.
Ég myndi alveg segja að það að hafa verið í Weird Girls hafi breytt minni líkamsvitund. Svona eftir því sem ég var eldri þá hefur þetta orðið mér rosa mikið hjartans mál að við séum sáttar við líkam okkar eins og við erum og við séum ekki sífellu að hlusta á það sem allir aðrir segja.
I can't do this project without money. You know, it involves multiple women in costume, and that is just, you know, very hard to get around. I mean, up until a few years ago, I paid for every episode myself, along with the women putting in their sort of daily contribution towards the food and keeping costume. And there have been a couple where bands have given me some money towards the equipment, but mostly I paid for the whole thing myself, and it's just not something that I've been able to do financially for a long time now. So yeah, I'm trying to put an idea forward for this at the moment.
I'm operating! I'm no longer in here! What's my neighbor? What's the language? I'm getting lost. I'm getting so much lost. I'm getting loster. I'm getting more loster.
The redundancies in CCP I knew were coming. I knew they were in deep trouble, and so I'd already gone and researched how much money I would be able to get on benefit and everything, because I'd had a total freak out realising that was going to happen.
But financially, it's been just outrageous. You know, I don't have fancy stuff at all. I always make sure Lilia has whatever she needs, and I have friends and family, and you know, Daniel, Lilia's father, is incredibly good. He has been really good. So when I want to say it's been tough because it's been tough, but you know, he's let me stay at his house when I've needed to, and he's let me, you know, he's helped me, he's lent me money. He's really cool, and I go over there for dinner, and he comes here for dinner, and if I need last minute babysitting or whatever, we're really good in that way. But it's tough being a single parent. I'm lucky to have an incredibly well-behaved kid, but I don't have any family here except for Daniel's family. I just have my friends, and if it wasn't for them, I don't know how the hell I'd got through, well, almost anything, basically. If I don't have any other income and I'm just on benefit, at the end of the month, after I've paid my bills, I have 15 to 22,000 krona per month for me and my daughter to live off entirely. And that includes bus fares, food, clothes, going out, everything. That's it. And I'm really lucky that I know how to cook and that I know how to grow my own vegetables, because we don't go without. But there have been many times when my friends have had me sobbing my eyes out on them because I literally don't know how I'm going to make it through a month.
I was very lucky. Within like a couple of weeks of stopping at the video game company, Converse invited me to go and do a test run. So I did that one, and it wasn't a video, but I got paid to be there and to do it. And we did a photo shoot, and there's a like behind-the-scenes video. And then they invited me back to do the tour, and that was, you know, a really substantial. For them, it didn't seem like a big budget. For me, it seemed like a huge budget, and it was so exciting. And I spent a month there doing that. Converse specifically don't use models, which is why I was happy to work with them as a clothing company. They use just the average person in all their marketing.
Working with people in China is very different because there's a massive cultural difference in everything. But I found that the crew, it was very good to work with the crew. They were incredibly professional and everything. Working with the women was quite a lot more difficult because what I'm trying to do is let them, you know, release themselves, and that was a bit difficult to do without the language. And having things translated, it lost a lot of that. It was quite hard to learn the mistakes on the first piece that I did in China, and it was because I was at a great physical distance from the women, and I couldn't communicate with them except through the translating director, and that lost a lot for me. And I learned that on the first set, but that was how the first one went. But I still really love that particular piece, but I didn't really interact with the women enough, and so the next one I did was the day after, and I did that completely differently, and it worked a lot better.
Let the journal grow within your head. Broadcast everything you ever said.
Working in China was unbelievable because I had a massive crew that were all paid really, really well and were like incredibly professional, and it was a really mind-blowing experience to work on that level. It was just insane. I mean, to the point where I was asking for a hat because the sun was so hot. And the next minute I'm in shade and I don't know why, and it's because two guys are holding a bounce board over my head. And I was like, yep, I could really do with some of this. And I remember talking to Krimi, my cinematographer, and we were both just like, we don't want to go back to what it's like to have no money and do this, because it was amazing. And the only thing I had to do was direct. And that was just an amazingly freeing experience.
While I was there, I applied for an artist residency that's hosted by Swatch, and I got that.
I was painting, and I did installation work and photography work and entirely different forms of art, which was really enjoyable. I didn't do anything to do with the Weird Girls project, and I still feel like I haven't done everything I want to do with it yet. I mean, the idea of using it as work which came out as like a kind of branded viral content, which is what Converse did, and also the Blue Lagoon, where they sponsor the piece, and that means I don't have to put any budget out for it, but I still own the work, and it still means that I apply the same rules to it. That was something I hadn't really ever contemplated at first, but now it seems to me that's the most likely way in which I'll be able to survive with this, because it's expensive to produce, and this is the way in which I can continue to produce it, and people can sort of use the video work at the end. This is something that I find quite exciting. When I'm working on it with a commission, if it's for a specific thing, then I have different frameworks to work within. And for the Blue Lagoon, I just had to use the location. So that was fine. And with the Converse work, I had to use a colour palette and have their shoes in it, which was, for me at the time, a great relief because I always struggle with getting shoes. Shoes for all the women, and I've been wearing Converse since I was a teenager. But if a company approached me that wanted me to do work, and it was, which a certain company has done, and they wanted me to put their logo on the costumes or something, it's like just absolutely non-negotiable for me, and won't do it. But if it's something that I feel that fits with the visual concept that I have, and also that isn't, some corporation that is known to be using, slave labor or doing something massively environmentally damaging or politically corrupt, then I'm willing to work within that. I don't find that a problem. But I've been very lucky. I haven't had any requests to change my concept or any of that side. It's frustrating to have that ability to have substantial budgets abroad and struggle to get any money here in Iceland. But, I've had loads of people work with me completely voluntarily, crew-wise, and I've had incredibly generous deals and support from the equipment suppliers here. So, that's really good, and I couldn't even get that abroad because I'm completely unknown, and why would they, Why would they do that? But it is really frustrating to be at the point I'm at now where I can't even seem to make an episode, even if me and the crew work for free.
And I couldn't do it anymore.
I had a conversation with my mother recently who just said, is it not time for you to just come back to England? And my father separately also. And I just said, I've been jetting all over the world, been lucky enough to be able to take my kids to a few of the places. It's all been paid for by other people. So even if I don't get a salary, it's been like insanely exciting experiences. So that's been really good. So it's not been like all miserable at all, but it isn't very comfortable to, not go to the dentist because I can't afford to go to the dentist, or, not do a lot of things and not have, but I still have a really good time. It's all about the money, basically. I won't do them abroad without getting a salary for myself, but doing it here now, I want to do it so badly, I'd do it with no salary for myself. I still need some funding. Costumes don't appear out of midair, even if I got a complete crew for free again, and equipment somehow sponsored. I'd still need money for costumes, and they're not cheap. And I'm not going to do another naked episode just because I can't afford costumes.
It went pretty well. It didn't clear as much stuff from my storage room as I would like to, but I made some nice money. So that's good. How much? That's private. Much better than a kick in the teeth, let's just say that.
Moment, jetzt hat er... Das stimmt aber auch.
We're in Eldana ruins in Reykjavík, North Germany. I was invited to come and produce an episode here with local women for the festival, which is happening in May. There is a Scandinavian Studies Institute here, and they asked me to come and be the featured artist because this year's hosting country is Iceland, and I'm here to represent that. What's on underneath this is possible. You're going to have no mouths. So after it's put on, you won't be able to eat or drink or talk until lunchtime. And this is like very exciting for me because it's going to be the quietest Weird Girls I've ever done. So basically, because you can't talk, I've got notepads and pencils so you can communicate with each other.
I think this is going to be the most challenging bit. I'm getting like a heart, like sort of like my heart is beating and I'm getting stressed out about like not being able to speak for a couple of hours. But I have confidence in Anita. So, well, just, you know, it's good being weird.
I'll be asking you to like struggle and hit the wall and push at the top, like up above your head, and also like doing this, like to pretend to sob, because we need to see like real distress coming through, and you can't really express that very well otherwise. Okay, that's fine, but what I want to know is, has anybody still got an open mouth?
Oh, there's nobody. Yeah, Christina, Christina one.
Yeah, I kind of wanted this shot to be a little bit more symmetrical, but fuck it, we're going to do so much symmetry from the other side
we
anyway.
Can, there's other stuff on it.
Can you put your hands on each side of your wig and hold it on your head really tight? And elbows out and be really distressed. If you can really move your heads around, that's it. Really frustrated and not being able to speak. I was very stressed this morning and now I am feeling pretty hyperactive actually. And I'm getting a little bit greedy because I'm thinking of things I'd like to do which are above and beyond what I was doing before. But that's nice, it's a good place to be in.
Let's put it on a tripod now.
If they have it on, I can whistle.
No, I think there's fucking... Whoa, they're coming! How did that work?
I tell you.
Break down these walls. We are the ones that will swim in the flood. Only the wild ones will fight their way through. Heroes are here to fall, everyone knows. Heroes are nothing but souls that they chose.
So yeah, just everybody thank you, and thank you to everybody who came and helped as well with the crew. It's just amazing. Seriously, awesome. Very, very, very happy with today. So give yourself a round of applause. Let's go.
Kom mér eiginlega bara allt á óvart. Af því ég vissi ekkert við hverju ég var að búast.
The first reason for why I wanted to join was because I thought it was just like putting on costumes, being cool, having fun. But then as I learned about the whole concept around the episodes, around the women, around the costumes, around sort of like freeing yourselves and all that, then I felt like, oh, this is something that I really want to participate in, and this is something that I really want to try out.
Allir fá að njóta sín og fá að vera í augnablikinu.
Don't know. At the moment, I really don't know what keeps me going. Because I have all the women wanting to do it, basically, to be perfectly honest. I want to do more. I don't like not doing it. I get really twitchy when I haven't done one for a while, which is now. I start to get really twitchy and I want to do something. And I don't like to sit around and, you know, not make that happen. So, yeah, but I've been lucky enough to continually be asked to do some piece. In the last few years, I've just been asked to do pieces. So there's always been one lined up. This is the first time I have not had one lined up, and I do not like it one bit. Don't enjoy that feeling.
I wanted to propose you to take part in this game and kind of invent a performance, like in the spirit of the like fluxus, conceptual, and in the spirit of early feminist performances.
I'm incredibly desperate to do a local piece at the moment. For the women, they've been waiting a long time, and I don't want them to think that I've kind of, I'm just pouncing all around the world on the success of the project and I've forgotten about them. I haven't. It's just incredibly hard to get funding here for me. This is all of the old Weird Girl stuff, and the makeup, I obviously keep that to see if I can save spending money on any more of it, and also eyelashes and stuff like that, and the costumes I've got loads and loads and loads of, and I'm currently having a bit of a personal drama as to what to do with them, because I want to keep at least a couple of each one for future use for exhibitions and stuff like that. Costumes. Weird girls. No, that's Christmas. Weird girl stuff. A whole box of eyelashes, apparently. What? Can't be. Yeah. So I'm kind of a bit lost on what to do about that, really. I've been asked to do lots of live stuff with the Weird Girls, and this isn't something that translates very well to just a live event, because the women are, under the element of surprise. That's the whole point of it. It's supposed to be element of surprise, and they're not professional actresses. But one of the girls who was actually in the Blue Lagoon episode is hosting a special event. So she wanted to have an opera singer rise up from the lagoon as in the episode. And normally I don't tend to do this sort of stuff, but times are tight. One has to earn some money somehow.
Do you have time to do it? Wow.
Well, it's been a year and a half of being unemployed, and during that time I've then had commissions to go abroad and produce work. So I sign off of my unemployment benefit and go abroad, and I have to report to the unemployment benefit office when I come back and show that I have got my plane ticket back. And it's been really weird to go abroad and sort of be treated like a bit of a superstar. And then I come back and I sign back on unemployment, and then I spend the next week crying about how I'm going to pay my rent because I have to magic money from somewhere. I tend to have jobs that I want to feel job satisfaction from, but it isn't my be-all and end-all, because I can always sit and draw and paint and plan out concepts and focus on submitting my work into film festivals and doing other bits and bobs and helping out other people on their projects and doing interviews with people like I am now. And it gives me more to think about than the fact that I got a no from the job I applied for in an office, basically. But without this, I'd probably be in a much more depressed state. So I'm glad I've got it, even though I'm not exactly making a fortune right now.
Who's that? Daddy? Mm-hmm. Careful.
Okay.
Oh, hello.
Just to take care of that real quick. That looks good.
Now I've got my partner coming to live with me, and that changes a lot of things. It is a bit more difficult when you have no partner and no family and no job, and no money. And then in the winter, no sun also. It's a little bit much to deal with, but I still prefer living here. I don't really know why, but I do. And now I'm persuading someone else to move here. So it better stay at least as good as it is now, or better. Yeah, things are about to change a lot for me. I'm not going to talk about that though. Sorry. I'm not going to talk about that. I have been somewhat obsessed with jellyfish for a while. And when I went to China, I shot a lot of footage in jellyfish tanks in the Shanghai aquarium. This is my ideal, what they would look like if I could make them. But it's so difficult with the tendrils. And so really, if I'm going for like jellyfish... The thing is, I started the Weird Girls project with no training in film or art or anything. And I did it. And I think I'm pretty good at it now. And what that's left me with is a ridiculous sense that I can just do anything I want. So when there was an open call for a light installation, I decided, why not? I had a good idea. But actually doing it is nothing. But if I actually manage to pull this off, who knows what the hell I'm going to try and do next, basically. This is very exciting and science nerdy, and I love it, but I'm also very much out of my control zone, which I don't do very well in. This is the first time I've had to work with someone else who has all the control, which is Andy, who is running the arts-led production company. Can I just cut this wire and it still works? I'm not sure. I'm gonna try and cut one in a minute. Like, Missy. Shut up.
Yeah, get on, Andy. Do it.
I've been working with Visit Reykjavík to produce the Light Festival here, and really it's in a partnership with the Faroe Islands and with Manchester through the Nordic Culture Point Production Funds for Nordic Collaboration. And we chose Kitty really because alongside some more established light artists, we wanted to take a few risks and get a different angle on light artwork through people that have got more conceptual ideas. So we went for Kitty, who'd proven herself through filmmaking and doing large productions, in the hope that she could deliver something impressive here, but with a slightly different angle than it's been seen before.
If we do 1/2 metre across,
yeah.
I mean that's.
Then that much dangly.
Yeah, I mean, and this could be essentially that high.
Yeah, half
hood. I mean, I would like them to be
impressive. Yeah.
Impressive. And also being with Nick, who works on massive scale of lighting, and he was brought in to just have a look and help us out, and ended up liking playing with it so much that now he's actually going to be the one making the electronics for it. And Andy's not just a curator, he has done a lot of hands-on production on artwork himself, so he actually has a phenomenal amount of experience on how to get things done, and also who to ask if you can't get them done yourself.
What was that type of jellyfish called that you like? The cone.
Cone is the one that has the threading through, but the ones that I think are more beautiful are the more normal hood. It just depends on whether I can have dangly bits or not.
Okay.
And
oh hi, wonder if you can help me. I'm looking to vac form some acrylic jellyfish, and I wanted to speak to somebody there about how we can go about it.
I stated continually when Andy was trying to push me into areas I had zero experience in that it was making me very uncomfortable, but I didn't say no, and I am the kind of person who would just say no, fuck off, if I meant no, fuck off. And I think 5 years ago I probably wouldn't have said yeah, I would have just said fuck off. But through the Weird Girls project, because I've managed to learn from other crew members pushing me, especially like my cinematographers, crew me especially, pushing me to do things that I maybe didn't feel that confident doing. Andy pushing me has been a really good experience. I feel like it's been less of a good experience for him. He's been really stressed out. Not that I haven't been very willing to do what he suggests, but I just feel like, I said I had no experience in this field, and, I wasn't joking.
Oh no.
That's Christmas lighting.
Yeah.
So the original proposal concept which was to hang some fibre optic jellyfish, is now translated into doing some LED jellyfish heads concealed in massive plinths of ice, which is going to be a lot easier. Or not.
Is it?
Exactly. It's choosing to be very difficult. So we're trying to find ways in which to create the jellyfish head. And we know what electronics we're going to use, which is the bit I was initially most concerned about. But we need to try and make this bit relatively watertight. And then it's like within grasp.
Yeah.
Within grasp, I said, not
Within
done. Within grasp. That's not just about the control thing. It's because it's a piece of work that I'm incredibly dependent on right now, on working for me on a professional basis, because it's a public commission. It's a commission from Reykjavík city, and I haven't had a public commission, and it's very important particularly in my career right now with regards to further grant applications and everything, for it to be done properly. And it's already been press released, it's already been announced that I'm producing this public work, and if I don't do it well enough, that can actually damage. I can be worse off than I was if I hadn't done it at all. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! Oh, it's starting to be sexy.
Yeah, that's 8 LEDs pointing into the dome to give it a glow, which is really, I think it really helps the glow, doesn't it?
Yeah, because it distracts from
So
the
all the
individual.
other garbage, yeah.
No, but it also distracts.
This
is great.
This is looking great now with the darkness.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, I'm gonna take a video. I'm gonna take a video and send my wife. I'm not going to cry tonight.
I think that we succeeded in, bringing Kitty together with lighting designer Nick Malbon, who's very established on the international kind of rock and roll circuit and doing large-scale lighting events, to make a more delicate piece of work that's much more physical than maybe the more projection and digital-based work that a lot of festivals are showing at the moment.
So what I'm very excited about is not only that this will be something at home that is not the Weird Girls, that will maybe show people I have artistic brain outside of making a lot of women be part of a performance piece in my video work, but that I can do other things. And I've had people from outside of Iceland accept and encourage me to do that, but not locally.
The response of audiences to it has been great, and people seem to be enjoying it, so I don't think we can ask much more than that. I'd say it's been a success.
Basically these bits and wigs cut up. I can't remember if I cut one up now. Earlier this year I had moved into a shared studio space with my friend Maga, and I'd gone through all of the materials and costumes and everything that I'd had from the Weird Girls project, including materials I'd never used, and had decided that I wanted to produce a video work which was just with myself. And I had already spoken to Fiona Criven, who made the costume, and it would be less budget and easier to manage. And then my wife decided that she didn't want to be in Iceland anymore. The minute she told me that she'd taken the decision, I began planning. My inspiration is, well, apart from my personal experiences at the moment,
which is what most of the concept's about. But like visually, cinematically, is Yimu Zhang, who did Hero, which is like this with the strong colours, and this one here, and this here, and House of the Flying Daggers, which is these ones, and this is Hero as well, and also my favourite film of all time, which is Curse of the Golden Flower, which is this is all from, and this.
And it is like you can still bend it.
Yeah, I mean, you can. Yeah, it's just how to get it. Living in Iceland has been progressively become more difficult on a kind of practical basis and an emotional basis, like separate from my wife not being here. Like the continual recession hit over and over again, you know, it's impossible to ignore. Just really basic stuff like the last 2 summers have sucked balls weather-wise. There's been like no fucking summer, and then you have a winter with no light. Many of my friends here, both foreigners and Icelanders, who I have referred to as my family, have all except a few moved away from Iceland. When your existence is squeezed so much as it is, it's still very beautiful here. It's still very wonderful for my daughter, but it's become so that I feel a little bit isolated by that fact. And so I shot it on a glacier because it really represents the sort of desolation and being alone, and being on a glacier where it's melting and you don't know which foot you put where to be safe is pretty much how I feel right now here. I really don't know which way to go in order to be safe. The ice sculpture was in the shape of a bear because it represents everything in me that I have a difficulty with and that I didn't handle well in my relationships.
Solitude I found. No more voices ringing in my ears. A world without a sound. Just the silent music of the spheres. And still if I had the answers, you should be here. I've never seemed sorry. When I see you alone, far away from home, and I wonder why I feel like everything is turning in my head. It's you again, taken by the unknown, heart into stone. Never cease to wonder why everything keeps turning in my head. It's you again.
It's definitely the most personal art that I've done. I'm never not going to be a control freak, I think, but it's about exhibiting it in the right places and the right times and not having it destroy you. But basically that's why it got smashed in the video also. You're actually really excited, aren't you? Hold on. Yeah, also at the same time that Yes had decided to not be in Iceland, I decided that I couldn't really face the winter here this year. It's the last winter before my kid goes to school, so it's the last time I can actually take her out of the school system and go and do something. Also, Lilia's father is touring very heavily this winter, so I wouldn't have had him for support with Lilia. And decided to go to LA, and then after speaking with Yes a lot, decided to go and spend some time with her as well. And so I'm gonna go where it's sunny every day. I'm so excited. So excited.
I don't have my mind set on a specific 5 or 10 year plan. I would like to do more of what I've been doing first. I think I've got enough to do until I'm old and grey. I'm probably already grey under the hairline, but when I'm old and grey,